In this case, several private landowners from northeastern South Dakota asked the courts to prohibit the state and the public from using lakes that had formed over previously dry parts of their property. Because of unseasonably wet years, the water had accumulated into large lakes. The landowners argued that they owned the land underneath the newly formed lakes, and therefore they also owned the rights to the water. State Game Fish and Parks argued that the public also has an interest in using the water for fishing, hunting, and other recreational purposes under the public trust doctrine. How would you decide this case? Is the public entitled to use large bodies of water or lakes that have formed over privately owned land due to unseasonably wet weather? We'll be back in a moment with the answer to that question. Is the public entitled to use lakes that have formed over privately owned land due to unseasonably wet weather? Yes, according to the South Dakota Supreme Court in this recent opinion. According to the court, subject to private use appropriation rights granted by law previously, commonly referred to as riparian rights, all water in South Dakota belongs to the people in accordance with the public trust doctrine and as declared by statute and precedent. The court stated that although lake beds are mostly privately owned, the water in the lakes is public and may be converted to public use, developed for public benefit, and appropriated in accordance with legislative direction and state regulation. This case involves the public trust doctrine as it applies to water in South Dakota. Under the public trust doctrine, all water in South Dakota belongs to the people, and the state has an obligation to preserve the water for public use. The state legislature has the authority to determine the extent of the public's right to use these bodies of water subject to private rights of appropriation granted by law previously. Because of the public trust doctrine, the landowners in this case were not able to prohibit the state or the public from using the lakes. Remember, it's a matter of law.